Let's begin. Most people misunderstand discipline. They think it's about punishment. They think it's about deprivation. They think it's a grim, joyless struggle against their own nature. They see it as a cage. They're wrong. Discipline is not a cage. It is the key to the cage. It is not the limitation of your freedom. It is the architecture of your freedom. And training your mind for lasting discipline is the single most important skill you will ever learn. It is more valuable than any tactic, any shortcut, any moment of inspiration, because when your mind is trained, everything else becomes possible. Let me break a common myth for you. The myth is that success is an event. You see the promotion, the championship, the finished masterpiece, the grand opening. You see the moment in the spotlight, and you think that moment is the success. That is the illusion. Success is not an event. Success is a process. It is invisible. It happens in the dark, in the quiet, in the daily repetition of things no one sees. That moment on stage is not the success. That moment is merely the revelation of the success that already happened. It is the harvest. And you cannot harvest what you did not plant. You cannot reveal what you did not build. This is the invisible work. Think of a great tree. You see the height, the strength, the spread of its branches, but what you see is only half the story. The visible growth is supported by an equal or greater growth beneath the soil, a root system, vast and hidden, anchoring the tree, seeking nourishment, providing stability. No roots, no tree. It is that simple. Your life, your achievements, your character, they are the tree. Your discipline is the root system. It is the invisible work. It is the daily, consistent, unseen growth downward and outward that makes the visible growth possible. When the storm comes, the tree with shallow roots falls. The tree with deep roots stands. Your personal storms will come. Pressure will come. Doubt will come. Fatigue will come. Will you stand? That depends entirely on the depth of your roots. That depends on the discipline you have cultivated in the quiet days. So we must talk about how to build this, how to train your mind for this. It begins with a simple, powerful law: preparation meeting opportunity. This is often called luck. It is not luck, it is law. Opportunity is constantly presenting itself. It knocks softly, constantly, but most people do not hear the knock. Why? Because they are not in the room of preparation. They are wandering elsewhere. They are distracted, unfocused, unprepared. The law is absolute. When preparation meets opportunity, the result is called success. When unpreparedness meets opportunity, the result is called failure. And the world will call it bad luck. It is not bad luck. It is a bad preparation. Your primary job then is not to chase opportunity. Your primary job is to deepen your preparation, to train your mind, to build your skills, to strengthen your character, so that when the door opens, you are already ready. You are already standing in the right room. You are not scrambling to get ready. You are ready. This is the discipline of preparation. It is a daily discipline. It is doing the work when there is no applause, no deadline, no immediate reward, because you trust the law. You trust that opportunity will come, and you intend to be ready. Now, pressure. Pressure is a great revealer.
It does not build character. It reveals it. It strips away the superficial. It shows you what is really there, what you have really built. Think of a sponge. When it is dry, it holds its shape. It looks firm. But apply pressure, squeeze it. What comes out? Whatever it was filled with. If it was filled with clean water comes out. If it was filled with vinegar comes out. The pressure doesn't create the liquid. It merely reveals what was inside all along. You are the sponge. The pressures of life, the tight deadline, the financial strain, the personal conflict, they squeeze you. And what comes out? Is it patience? Clarity? Resolve? Or is it anger, panic, blame? What comes out is what you have been filling yourself with in the quiet times, your daily thoughts, your chosen attitudes, your practiced responses. Discipline is the process of filling yourself with the right things consistently, so that under pressure, the right things come out. Let me give you a real-life example. Consider two people facing the same business failure. One is filled with the daily discipline of learning, of accepting responsibility, of seeing setbacks as feedback. Under the pressure of failure, what comes out? Analysis, learning, a plan to rebuild. The other has filled their mind with blame, with excuses, with a sense of entitlement. Under the same pressure, what comes out? Bitterness, accusations, despair. The event was the same, the pressure was the same, the outcome was completely different. Why? Because of what was inside before the pressure ever arrived. Another example. Two athletes on the same team, both injured. One has the discipline of mental conditioning, of visualizing recovery, of controlling what they can control. The pressure of injury reveals resilience, a focus on the process of healing. The other, without that training, reveals only frustration, negativity, a mental surrender that slows their physical recovery. Pressure reveals your patterns. Your mental patterns are built by repetition. They are built by discipline. So you must ask yourself, what am I building inside right now, today, that will be revealed under future pressure? Are you building a pattern of focus or a pattern of distraction? Which brings us to the next point. Focus is your most precious resource. It is more valuable than time, because time passes regardless. Focus directs time. Where your focus goes, your energy flows, and where your energy flows, your life grows. Distraction is the enemy of discipline. It is the thief of focus. You must protect your focus like a master jeweler protects a rare diamond. You do not leave it out on the counter. You do not let everyone handle it. You keep it in a secure vault. You bring it out only for deliberate, purposeful work. The modern world is designed to steal your focus. Notifications, alerts, endless streams of content, opinions, and noise. They are all pickpockets trying to steal your diamond. Training your mind for discipline means training it to guard the vault. It means creating periods of uninterrupted, deep focus. It means saying no to the trivial so you can say yes to the important. This is not easy. It is a discipline. It starts small. 1 hour. Turn everything off. Just you and one important task. Your mind will rebel. It will scream for distraction. It will tell you to check just one thing. Your discipline is to gently, firmly return your focus again and again. You are not just working on a task, you are working on your mind. You are strengthening the muscle of attention. Each time you return your focus, you are doing a rep. You are making that mental muscle stronger. Over time, what was once exhausting becomes easy. The vault door becomes heavier for the thieves to open.
You become the master of your attention. And when you master your attention, you begin to master your life. Now, how does growth actually happen? It is not a mystery. It is a sequence, a reliable, repeatable sequence. Learn, apply, evaluate, correct, persist. This is the cycle of disciplined growth. First, you learn. You acquire knowledge, a principle, a new skill. But learning alone is useless. It is potential energy. It must be converted into kinetic energy. So second, you apply. You take that knowledge and you use it. You do the thing. You try the new method. You practice the new skill. This is where most people stop. They learn, they try once, and then they stop. But the sequence is not finished. Third, you evaluate. You look at the results of your application. You do this honestly, without ego. You ask what worked, what did not, how did it feel? Fourth, you correct. Based on your evaluation, you make an adjustment. You tweak your approach. You refine your technique. Then you apply again with the correction. This leads to a new evaluation, which leads to a new correction. This is the loop. Learn, apply, evaluate, correct. But there is a fifth critical element. It surrounds and sustains the entire cycle. Persist. You must stay in the loop long enough for it to work. You must persist through the early, awkward applications. You must persist through evaluations that show you were wrong. You must persist through corrections that feel small and insignificant. Persistence is the fuel for the cycle. Without it, the cycle stops. With it, the cycle becomes a spiral, lifting you upward over time. This is the disciplined approach to growth. It is systematic, it is humble, it is effective. It requires you to be a student of your own progress. Now, let's address the heart of the matter: discipline versus motivation. This is a critical distinction. Motivation is a feeling. It is an emotion. It comes and goes like the weather. It is unreliable. If you build your life on motivation, you are building on sand. Discipline is not a feeling. Discipline is a decision. It is a commitment. It is a system you follow regardless of how you feel. The key to lasting discipline is to build systems that bypass your moods. You do not wait to feel like doing the work. You follow the system. Your system says, at this time, in this place, I do this work. Your feelings are irrelevant. You show up, the system takes over. Think of it like a bridge. Motivation is a fragile, swaying rope bridge. Some days it's there, some days it's washed away. Discipline is a stone bridge, arching strong and solid over the river of your changing emotions. You can walk across it every day, rain or shine, whether you feel like it or not. You must build the stone bridge. You do this by creating rituals, not goals, rituals. A goal says, I want to write a book. A ritual says, I write for 1 hour every morning at 6 a.m. The ritual is the system. On the days you are inspired, the ritual channels that inspiration. On the days you are tired, the ritual carries you forward anyway. The ritual is the discipline. It is the stone bridge. Your job is to design the ritual and then to honor it, to show up and let the system do its work. This requires strategic patience.
We live in a world that celebrates the overnight success, but there is no such thing. What looks overnight is always the final visible stage of a long, invisible process. You must understand the metaphor of seasons. A farmer does not plant in spring and then stand in the field screaming at the crops to grow faster. He understands the seasons. He does the work of each season. In spring, he plants. In summer, he tends. In autumn, he harvests. In winter, he plans and repairs. He cannot rush the harvest. He cannot skip the tending. He works with time, not against it. Your mind, your skills, your character, they grow in seasons. There is a season for planting new knowledge, a season for practicing, for tending your skills, a season for harvesting the results, and a season for rest, reflection, and planning. Discipline is doing the correct work for the current season. It is having the patience to stay in the summer of work, even when you crave the autumn harvest. It is trusting the process of growth. Impatience is a form of arrogance. It is believing that your timetable is better than the natural timetable of development. Strategic patience is humble. It is aligning your effort with the rhythm of reality.
This is a disciplined mind, a mind that can work diligently in the spring without demanding an autumn result. Now, within this process, you need feedback. Discipline without feedback is just effort. It can be wasted effort. You must measure, not to judge yourself, but to inform yourself. You cannot manage what you do not measure. If you are working to improve your health, you measure something: your energy, your strength, a relevant number. If you are working to improve your knowledge, you test your understanding. If you are working to improve a skill, you track your performance. Measurement provides the data for your evaluation. It tells you if your corrections are working. It removes guesswork and emotion from the process. But here is the discipline. You must measure the right things. Measure the inputs you control, not just the outcomes you desire. You may not control the final sale, but you control the number of meaningful conversations you have. You may not control the final weight on the bar, but you control your consistency in showing up for training. Measure your discipline, not just your dreams. This keeps you in control. This keeps you in the process. And from this consistent process, something powerful begins to happen: momentum. Small, disciplined actions, repeated, begin to compound. Think of a massive flywheel, a huge, heavy metal disc. At first, it is motionless. To get it moving, you must push with all your might. You push, and it moves almost imperceptibly. You push again and again. Each push adds a tiny amount of speed. The work feels hard, and the result seems negligible. But you persist. You keep pushing. You must trust the law of compounding. You must trust that momentum is building invisibly until it becomes visible. And then one day, you will find that your progress is almost automatic, that your disciplined rituals are now habits, that your focused mind now defaults to clarity, that the flywheel of your life is spinning with a power that propels you forward. This is not magic. This is mechanics. This is the inevitable result of a disciplined process applied with patience. Then comes the breakthrough. But understand this: a breakthrough is not a destination. It is a doorway.
It is a transition to a new level of challenge, a new set of standards. The disciplined mind does not seek a single breakthrough and then stop. It understands that life is a series of plateaus and ascents. You work diligently on a plateau, mastering that level. Your discipline builds pressure, builds skill, builds readiness, and then you break through to the next plateau. The view changes, your capabilities expand, and then you begin the disciplined work again on this new, higher ground. Breakthrough becomes a lifestyle, not a frantic lurching from peak to peak, but a calm, consistent climbing of a staircase you are building beneath your own feet. This is where the emotion comes in. Not the hype of a temporary high, but the deep, quiet emotion of fulfillment, the satisfaction of knowing you are capable, the dignity that comes from self-command, the freedom that comes from not being a slave to your impulses. This is the emotional elevation that discipline provides. It is not the fleeting shout of victory. It is the steady, warm light of self-respect. So, how do you train your mind for lasting discipline? You start by rejecting the myth of the event. You embrace the invisible work. You prepare so that you are ready for opportunity. You let pressure reveal what you need to strengthen. You guard your focus with fierce determination. You engage in the cycle of learning, application, evaluation, and correction. And you persist. You build systems, not on motivation, but on ritual. You practice strategic patience, understanding the seasons of growth. You use feedback to refine your approach. You push the flywheel until momentum works for you, and you see each breakthrough as a doorway to the next level of your development. You do not do this perfectly,
You will have days where your focus scatters, days where your patience wears thin, days where the flywheel seems stuck. This is part of the training. The discipline is in the return, not in never falling, but in always getting back up, in always returning to the ritual, in always making the next correct, disciplined choice. Your mind is like a garden. Left untended, it will grow weeds. Weeds of distraction, of excuse, of short-term thinking. Discipline is the tending. It is the daily weeding. It is the planting of useful seeds. It is the watering of good habits, day after day, season after season. The garden does not become beautiful overnight, but with consistent tending, it transforms. It becomes fertile, productive, and peaceful. Your mind is your garden. You are the gardener. The tool you hold in your hand is discipline. Use it daily. Tend to your own thoughts, your own habits, your own focus. The harvest will come, not as a single dramatic event, but as a life of strength, of capability, of quiet confidence. A life where you are not waiting for external forces to shape you. A life where you are the shaping force. This is the power of a trained mind. This is the reward of lasting discipline. It is the most important work you will ever do, because it is the work of creating yourself. Start today, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Start now, where you are, with what you have. The first disciplined action is always the decision to begin. Do not wait for the perfect plan. The perfect plan is a myth that paralyzes. A good plan, acted upon with discipline, is far superior to a perfect plan that remains an idea. So begin, but begin small. Do not attempt to overhaul your entire life in a day. That is not discipline. That is enthusiasm, and enthusiasm fades. Discipline is built in the small, seemingly insignificant choices. The choice to wake up 10 minutes earlier. The choice to turn off the screen and read for 20 minutes.
The choice to take a walk instead of scrolling. The choice to complete the task you promised yourself you would do. These small choices are the bricks, each one laid with care. Each one seems unimportant alone, but together they form the foundation of a new reality. They form the stone bridge. So pick one small ritual, just one. Perhaps it is a morning ritual. 5 minutes of silence before the day begins. Perhaps it is an evening ritual, writing down 3 things you accomplished, no matter how small. Perhaps it is a work ritual, the first hour of your day dedicated to your most important task with no interruptions. Choose one and commit to it for 30 days. Not forever, just 30 days. This is a manageable frame for your mind. Forever is intimidating. 30 days is a challenge you can accept. During these 30 days, your only job is fidelity to the ritual. Do not worry about the results. Do not measure the outcome. Measure your consistency. Did you show up? That is the only question. This is how you train the muscle, by repeating the motion, by showing up when you do not feel like it, especially when you do not feel like it. That is the rep that counts the most. On the day you are tired and you do the ritual anyway, you have just doubled your strength. You have proven to yourself that your feelings are not in command. That is a powerful revelation. It changes everything. After 30 days, you will have something more valuable than the results of the ritual. You will have evidence. Evidence that you can keep a promise to yourself. Evidence that you are capable of discipline. This evidence becomes the foundation for the next ritual. You build slowly. You add gradually. You let the discipline compound. Now, let us discuss the environment. Your mind does not exist in a vacuum. It is influenced by what surrounds it. To train your mind for discipline, you must train your environment to support it. Discipline is easier in an environment designed for it. Look at your physical space. Is it cluttered? Chaos in your surroundings promotes chaos in your mind. A cluttered desk is a cluttered mind. This is not just a saying, it is a neurological reality. Your brain has to process everything in your visual field.
Every unfinished task, every pile of paper, every stray object is a small distraction, a drain on your focus. The disciplined mind requires a disciplined space. This does not mean sterile or empty. It means intentional. Everything in its place for a reason. A workspace, a place for rest, a place for creation. Begin by ordering one small space, your workstation, your bedside table, one drawer. Bring order to it. Maintain that order daily. This act of external ordering trains internal ordering. It is a physical manifestation of discipline. It reinforces the pattern. Next, your digital environment. This is often the greater battleground. Your phone, your computer are portals to infinite distraction. They are designed to capture and fragment your attention. You must design them for focus. Turn off non-essential notifications, uninstall apps that suck your time without providing value. Create separate profiles or spaces for work and for leisure. Use technology as a tool, not as a master. The discipline is in the setup. Once the environment is set up to support focus, the daily discipline becomes easier. You are not fighting against a current of distraction. You are swimming in a channel you have dug for yourself. Now, consider your social environment.
The people you spend time with. You are the average of the 5 people you associate with most. This is a law of influence. You cannot ignore it. If you surround yourself with people who are undisciplined, who complain, who prioritize short-term pleasure, your discipline will erode. It will be a constant uphill battle. Conversely, if you surround yourself with people who value growth, who keep their word, who focus on the important, your discipline will be reinforced. You do not need to abandon anyone, but you must be conscious of the influence, and you must seek out those who embody the traits you wish to strengthen. Join a group with a shared purpose. Find a mentor, even from a distance through their work. Engage in conversations that challenge you to be better. Your social environment should lift you toward discipline, not pull you away from it. This is a critical, often overlooked form of self-discipline, the discipline to choose your influences. You are responsible for what you allow into your mind. Another layer, the discipline of language. The words you speak, both aloud and in your internal dialogue, shape your reality. They are not just descriptions, they are prescriptions. If you constantly say, "I am terrible at this," your mind accepts it as a fact and behaves accordingly. If you say, "I am struggling with this, but I am learning," your mind orienteers toward growth. Discipline your speech. Eliminate helpless language. Words like can't, always, never, hopefully. Replace them with empowered language. I will, I am learning, I choose, I can. This is not positive thinking. This is accurate thinking. It is framing your experience in terms of agency, not victimhood. Your internal dialogue is a running program in the background of your mind. If that program is full of bugs, of self-doubt, of catastrophic thinking, of excuse-making, it will crash every attempt at disciplined action. You must debug the program. You do this by listening. Catch yourself in a moment of negative self-talk, pause, and restate the thought with discipline, with accuracy, with agency. This is a mental discipline of the highest order. It requires constant vigilance, but over time, you rewrite the program. You install a new operating system for your mind, one that supports your goals rather than sabotaging them. Let's talk about energy. Discipline requires energy. You cannot draw from an empty well. There are 4 fundamental types of energy: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. You must manage all 4. Physical energy is the foundation. If you are tired, malnourished, or lethargic, mental discipline is almost impossible. Your brain is a physical organ. It requires sleep. It requires good food. It requires movement. The discipline of going to bed on time is a prerequisite for the discipline of waking up to work. The discipline of choosing healthy fuel is a prerequisite for sustained mental focus. The discipline of regular exercise is not just for the body, it is for the mind. It clears the fog.
It builds resilience. It teaches you to push through discomfort. Neglect your physical energy, and you undermine every other disciplined effort. Emotional energy is about managing your state. Stress, anxiety, unresolved anger, these are energy vampires. They drain your capacity for focus and deliberate action. The discipline here is in processing emotion, not suppressing it. It is the discipline of reflection, of perhaps keeping a journal, of talking to a trusted person, of practicing gratitude to counterbalance worry. You cannot control what emotions arise, but you can discipline your response to them. You can choose not to be ruled by a temporary feeling. This preserves your emotional energy for what matters. Mental energy is about focus and renewal. The brain cannot maintain intense focus indefinitely. It needs rest. The discipline is in working in focused sprints, followed by deliberate renewal. The Pomodoro technique is a simple example. 25 minutes of focused work, 5 minutes of rest. The discipline is in honoring both the work time and the rest time, not letting the work bleed into the rest.
You return to your allocated task. You are the pilot following the flight plan, not being blown off course by every passing wind. This is a life of intention. It is the opposite of a life of reaction. And it is available to anyone willing to practice the discipline of planning and execution. Now, let us go deeper into the mind itself. The battlefield of discipline is in the space between stimulus and response. Something happens, an interruption, a difficult task, a feeling of boredom. That is the stimulus. There is a gap, a fraction of a second. In that gap lies your freedom. In that gap lies your power to choose your response. The undisciplined mind has no gap. The stimulus triggers an automatic, often impulsive response. Reach for the phone, snap in anger, avoid the task. The disciplined mind widens the gap. It creates space for choice. How do you widen the gap? Through awareness, through practice. The first step is to notice the impulse, to feel the urge to distract yourself, and to simply acknowledge it. There is the urge to check my email. Do not judge it, just name it. This simple act of mindful observation weakens the impulse. It engages the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for executive function, for choice. Then, in that widened gap, you insert your disciplined intention. You recall your ritual. You remember your plan. You choose the response that aligns with your long-term vision, not your short-term impulse. This is the micro work of discipline. It happens dozens, hundreds of times a day. Each time you successfully widen the gap and choose wisely, you strengthen the neural pathway for discipline. You make it easier next time. You are literally rewiring your brain. This is the training, not a grand, sweeping gesture, but 1,000 small victories in the gap between stimulus and response. This requires a certain detachment. You must learn to observe your own thoughts and impulses without becoming them. You are not your urge to quit. You are the observer who can choose not to quit. This perspective is liberating. It turns discipline from a grueling struggle into a series of conscious, empowered choices. You are not fighting yourself. You are guiding yourself. This is the essence of self-command. Now, consider the role of standards. Discipline is the daily maintenance of your standards. Your standards are your personal criteria for what is acceptable in your work, your behavior, your environment, your relationships. Low standards are easy to maintain. They require no discipline. High standards demand constant discipline, but they yield a high-quality life. You must define your standards clearly, not vaguely like do good work. Specifically, what does good work mean? A certain level of accuracy?
a specific depth of research, a particular standard of presentation. Write your standards down. For your health, I go to bed by 10:30 p.m. on weeknights. For your work, I review all documents twice before submitting. For your character, I speak without blaming others. These are your personal laws. Discipline is the act of living in accordance with your own laws. It is self-governance. When you feel resistance, when you want to cut a corner, you ask, does this action meet my standard? If the answer is no, you have a clear choice: lower your standard or uphold it through disciplined action. Lowering a standard is a small death of self-respect. Upholding it is a small victory of integrity. Choose the victory every time. This is how you build a life of character.
A life where you can trust yourself, because you have proven through daily discipline that you will uphold your own standards. This trust is the bedrock of all confidence. True confidence is not bravado. It is the quiet certainty that comes from knowing you can rely on yourself to do what you said you would do. This confidence changes how you walk into a room. It changes how you handle a crisis. It changes everything. Let's talk about the long arc. The training of your mind is not a project with an end date. It is a lifelong practice, like maintaining a temple. There will be seasons of great progress and seasons of maintenance. There will be times when your discipline is tested to its limits, a personal loss, a professional setback, a period of illness. In these times, your discipline may simplify down to 1 or 2 essential rituals. Just holding on. That is enough. Discipline is not about rigid adherence to a complex system at all costs. It is about the commitment to the process itself, even if the process must be adapted. The disciplined mind is adaptable. It is principled, but not rigid. It knows the difference between the core principle, showing up, doing the work, and the superficial form of the ritual. If you cannot run, you walk. If you cannot walk, you stretch. If you cannot do your full morning routine, you do 1 minute of deep breathing. You maintain the thread of discipline. You do not drop it. This thread, however thin, is what you will use to pull yourself back when the storm passes. This is why you train in the calm weather, so that the thread is strong when you need it, so that the habit of showing up is so deeply ingrained that even in grief or stress, some part of you knows to do one small right thing. That thread can save your life. It has saved many. Because action is the antidote to despair, and disciplined action is the most potent form. It is action directed by purpose, not by panic. Finally, let's reflect on the reward. What is the fruit of all this training? It is not merely external success. That may come and it is welcome, but the greater reward is internal. It is sovereignty. You are no longer a puppet pulled by the strings of passing impulses, other people's demands, or cultural whims. You are the puppeteer. You have taken hold of the strings of your own attention, your own actions, your own time. This is the deepest form of freedom. It is the freedom that comes from self-control. It is a calm power, a quiet authority over your own life. You stop begging for motivation. You stop waiting for permission. You stop blaming circumstances. You build. You act. You correct. You persist. Your life becomes your creation, not an accident of your environment, not a reaction to your past, but a deliberate construction, brick by disciplined brick. This is the ultimate dignity, to look at your life and know that you have shaped it, that you have earned your strengths, that you have paid the price for your wisdom. This is the life of a disciplined mind. It is available to you. The training begins with a single, simple decision. The decision to be the gardener of your own mind, to pick up the tool and to tend to one small patch today, then again tomorrow and the day after. The seasons will pass, the garden will grow, and one day you will look out over a landscape of your own making,
and you will understand. The discipline was not the price you paid for that view. The discipline was the path that led you there, and the person you became while walking it.
That person is the true reward. That person is capable. That person is free. Begin the training now.